Thank you for joining today. We will be covering the new attorney billing application, which will be launching on March 1st. If you were here last week, we will be covering the same material, but in smaller pieces, and we will take questions after each topic. If today is your first session, that is okay too. We will be starting from the beginning. We do ask that you remain muted during the presentation and demonstration. If you have questions, you can put them into the chat and we will get to them at each break after each topic. Or you can save them to the very end, which we will kind of do an all-encompassing Q&A. This PowerPoint, as well as many other training materials, are available on our website, and I will go over more of those in just a moment. Okay, so Brand Level app launch. The app is launching on Friday, March 1st, 2024. It will be located on our website. This is the waynecounty.com homepage, and the link is currently not there yet. It will not be posted until March 1st. I do want to stress that it does also work on mobile, so if you are leaving court, you don't have to be at a computer. You can go on your phone and access it. So the link is in the PowerPoint. You can also go to waynecounty.com, and in the upper left, you can see this kind of hamburger looking icon. If you click that, you go to departments, and then you go to Indigent Defense Services, and then it will be right here on our homepage. It will also be located with the training materials, which I'll show you in just a moment. So where are the training materials? They are located at this link, but also on our homepage. If you go to resources, it will be under attorney billing training. So a link to the app will be located on the homepage and on this page, and I'll show you what that page looks like. So this is the attorney billing training page. It contains videos, documentation, live recordings, and a practice application. So if you are more of a hands-on learner, you can actually get into this practice environment and practice using the application. But please note that this is a shared practice environment, so we ask that you don't put any real case data in there because it will be viewable to whoever is using this practice environment. We have 2 videos that show the entire process from beginning to end, and then a second video that does a really in-depth look at creating an invoice and the approval process. We have a thorough, complete guide, hard copy documentation, as well as this live training PowerPoint. And then beginning March 1st, we will also have these sessions recorded and available on the website. So in today's session, we are going to cover the following topics. First would be logging in, especially logging into the application for the first time. And after each topic, we will take questions, so don't feel you need to remember every single one. We're going to address them as we go. So first, we're going to start with logging in. Application launches on March 1st. Activation emails will be sent out. This is a sample of what that email will look like. It's going to be coming from oracle.com, and it's going to say, have the Wayne County logo. I know it's a little hard to see, but the Wayne County logo up here at the top, and you're going to click activate your account. Now, please note that these activation emails, they expire in 7 days. So if we would really appreciate you activating your account within 7 days, but if you do require a new activation link, you can contact the IDSD IT department at idsdit@waynecountymichigan.gov. So this is what the email looks like that you will be receiving on Friday, March 1st. And it will ask you to activate your email, and I will show you what happens after you click this activate your account. So you click activate your account, and you will be taken to this page here, and you're going to click allow, and then it's going to ask you to set up a password. So you're basically activating your account for the first time. You're choosing a password. There are some password rules, pretty typical for security purposes, lowercase letters, special characters, that kind of thing. So you will be creating a new password and confirming that password. And now I'm going to actually bring you in to the environment. So this is what the login page looks like for the application. Your username is going to be your bar number. So super easy to remember. And then you're going to put in your password and sign in. Now in the future, if you forget your password, we have this forgot password. Click on that. And it's going to ask you your bar number. We'll click next. And it's going to send me a password reset notification to the email address that Wayne County has on file for my bar number. So we do have Sartaj in the meeting, and he is our applications developer. So he is going to send me a password reset notification. I should get that soon. Show you what that looks like. There, just came in. It looks just like this. I'll do password reset. And I'm going to put in a new password. And hit reset password. And just like that, password has been reset, and I'm going to continue to sign in. Now, does anybody have any questions so far? We can kind of open the floor and take any questions that you may have. If not, I'll keep going. Check the chat.
I have a question, Natalie.
Mhm.
When you created the new password, I saw you save it up top. That is why it generated for you when you continued to sign in. Is that true?
That is a feature. I'm using Google Chrome. A lot of internet browsers have that option. That is not built into the application. That is built into my browser. A lot of your phone browsers may have that option as well. So I believe, most browsers now have it: Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari, if you're on a Mac. That's a browser feature.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Will you be required to update your password periodically? If so, how long will this change have to be made? I'm going to shoot that question over to Sartaj. You want to unmute and answer that?
So regarding the question of if you're required to update your password periodically, there is no requirement on updating your password. Your password doesn't expire. It's only in the event that you forget your password that you would be changing it. And just real quick, Natalie, I wanted to touch on Sydney's question as well. So there isn't an app for it, but you will be able to access the application through a browser on your phone, such as Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or anything that you may have. You can use the same link to go to this application, but there's not necessarily an app you can download onto your phone.
Yeah, so the question in the chat was, is there an actual app, like an app you would download in the App Store or the Play Store on Android? And there is not. So it is accessible through a browser and the link. So next I will go to the attorney dashboard. So I'm going to sign in. And here we have your attorney dashboard homepage. So there is only one thing to click on, which is your attorney dashboard. So we're going to go into it. And here you will see a list of all of your accepted cases. There can be a 24-hour delay between actually accepting the case and having it appear here in your dashboard. But you will see all of your accepted cases. And if you click this pencil icon here over on the side, that will take you into the case. So we're going to go into this State of Michigan versus Tony the Tiger, which is a Tier 4 case. And here we have the CTN, the case title, the tier, and then below I have entered some billing items. I've kind of pre-populated this case with some billing items, which we'll cover in just a second. And then below, once you submit an invoice, you will see them below here, pending invoices and approved invoices. Now, are there any questions about the attorney dashboard and entering it and viewing one of your cases?
On my screen, where it's got the CTN, the case title, those are all very light. Will I be typing in the CTN number, the State of Michigan versus Tony the Tiger, or in my part? Or
No, these will all be pre-populated for you.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay, I
these
see.
will all be there filled in for you.
All right.
You don't have to worry about typing anything in here at the top.
Okay, thank you.
Angela says, what if a case is missing? So if a case is missing and it's been more than 24 hours since you accepted the case, we do want you to contact the IDSD IT team. That email address is on this PowerPoint if something should occur, an issue like that. It's also on the website in multiple places, including where all these training documents are located. So if you are viewing your dashboard and you do not see your case, please contact us and we will make sure that we get that rectified.
Natalie, just to add in, when you do contact us, we would like to ask if you can send us the bar number, or your bar number, the case tracking number that you want added, and the title of the case, along with, yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, just make sure you provide enough information that we can locate the case and make sure that we get it on your dashboard, including the CTN, who you are, your bar number, and the case title.
And the tier.
And the tier.
Does this mean that on March 1, any pending case that you have will be on that dashboard?
It should be. We're making every effort to make that the case, but if it
Okay.
is missing, just email us.
It doesn't, what my question was, it just doesn't include the ones that you get March 1 and thereafter. It includes the ones that you have pending on March 1.
Correct. And the ones that are assigned on March 1 should be there on March 2.
Okay, thank you very much.
Now you will notice that our email addresses have changed from waynecounty.com to waynecountymichigan.gov. If you are still using the waynecounty.com, if you have that saved in your contacts, that will still route to us and end up in our inbox. So don't worry about having to change that. The IT help email is also going to be located on the website with all of these training materials. So does the attorney dashboard include spot appointments?
Assignments should show within 24 hours, and if not, please email idsdit@waynecountymichigan.gov.
Here we have some pre-populated billing items. Now I'm going to show you exactly how to create and add a billing item. So I'm going to hit add billing items, and this will pop up for you, and it's already pre-populated with the CTN and your bar number. And here we have a list of possible billing items. Now there are a lot, and they're for multiple tiers. So this is a searchable field. So I'm going to put in I'll say motion. I'm going to click motion brief drafting tier 4. Now, if you are concerned about not knowing what event type to choose, we will have a description, a document with some the descriptions up by March 1st on that training page. Now, once you choose the event, you're going to put in the date and time that the work started. So I'm going to put in, say I was 14th. I'll say it was at 1 o'clock p.m. and then you're going to hit done. If you just click away, it won't save your changes. So make sure that you hit done. And then I'm going to put in the date and the time that the work ended. So I will put in same day. I'll say it ended at 2. Now you can go down to the minute here. It doesn't have to be 2:30. It can be down to the minute. So I'll say 2:20. Done. And for the service description, we want it to be short and sweet, but also descriptive. So I'll say discovery demand. Now, certain billing types, we do require some supporting material. There will also be a document in the training section on the website explaining which billing events we'd like to see supporting materials.
Or in 1 minute.
If you aren't sure and you have supporting documentation, it doesn't hurt to attach it, but there are specific ones that do require an upload. So for the motion brief drafting, I'm going to add an attachment. You just hit choose file. And please note that this upload is for PDF documents. So I'm going to choose motion for discovery. If you make a mistake on your billing item, you can click this little pencil icon and you'll bring it right back up. So say you accidentally put 4 a.m. when it was supposed to be 4 p.m. if you accidentally put in the wrong.
Where did you do that from?
The edit?
Okay, I see. Go back.
Yep, there's this little pencil here, and then you just hit apply changes. This will also work for any of the fields. So if you put in the wrong event, if you accidentally put in the wrong day, you want to change the service description, or say you attached the wrong document, you can always exit out and then choose a new file. I'm just going to attach the same one. And then when you hit apply changes, that will be, now as you can see, the amount is automatically calculated. So in these billing items, I know it's light on here, but you can see that when I put in the hours, it automatically calculated those hours. And it automatically filled in the rate for that event type. And then automatically did the math for you here. So you do not have to do any math. You just need to fill in the date work started and ended, and then it'll automatically populate those fields for you. Now, does anybody have any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me for talking. All right. Let's say that this afternoon I begin work on a motion. I work on it for 2 hours. I'm done for the day. I haven't finished completing my draft. So tomorrow I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work for another 5 or 6 hours on it. Will I be able to enter the continuation of my work, or will it appear as a separate item under the same? I hope my question makes sense.
Yeah, you're basically asking, should you edit your billing item to make it so many more hours, or should you create 2 separate billing items?
Right,
Right?
right.
So
You should create two, Evan.
Okay,
And in your description, right, you can say began drafting, motion to quash on the first day. And on the
Okay.
second day, continue drafting,
Okay.
motion to quash. And on the fifth day, finished and upload the motion.
thank you. Because there's only gonna be one motion that we upload. There, right, you don't want me to send portions of a draft that I completed on day one, do you?
Generally, no. You've already put in 10 or 20 hours on the motion. It would be fair to submit something.
I start today on this motion.
Yes.
Okay, I don't finish it. Tomorrow I come back to it. And then I come back to it again on Sunday. I'm not submitting a portion of a written document.
I agree with you. But again, if the hours become voluminous, you do not want to hear from us reviewing it about the number of hours that have been expended writing with no document submitted.
Okay, I
Then
understand.
send us a draft. Otherwise, you'll likely get a response from us saying, where are you in this motion?
All right, I get it.
Okay.
I am going to touch on one more thing about editing your billing items. If you edit your billing item and you hit apply changes, if you don't see them take effect, you will need to refresh the page. And you will see them change down here. Do we have any more questions?
I'm just wondering, is this one of the situations where you want, like an attachment verification? Like, do you want every motion to have a motion attached ultimately? Like if you do it in either on one sitting or multiple? Is that one of, you have a list of items, like, for example, I'm just saying, like you do a jail visit or you do, you said you want verification of certain items. Is that one of them, motions?
Motions will be one of those items. Lineup report will be an item. You will get a full exhaustive list.
Okay,
The initial client interview is definitely an item.
right. Okay, I just want to make it understood. And then as far as with, if you're spending multiple times on a motion or you haven't finished an event, just as long as you submitted when you completed it, then that's sufficient.
A lot of it will turn on whether you invoice for it, which
Okay.
is another step we haven't gotten to. But you can enter work in here and we would not be reviewing it until you submitted the invoice.
Okay,
So it would become an issue if it was a significant amount of time spent writing a motion and then submit it for payment without a motion.
and you said we had to do a submission on every 30 days. And so what would you do if you're not done with your motion? How do you leave that off of your invoice that you submit?
You'll see that as the demonstration continues.
Okay, thank you.
And Angela, I just had a quick question. When will you send us the exhaustive list of all the items to calculate or to bill for, like the lineups and?
We hope to have that completed by the next training.
Okay,
A
thank you.
work in progress. We are diligently trying to think through every possibility. And it will be subject to change. But we'll get as close as we can.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Erickson, referenced that there might be a necessity to refresh a page.
Yes.
And
So if you
How do you
are,
do that?
it's just up in your browser here. The little, it usually looks
Oh, I
like,
see. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
yeah, in order for changes to take effect, you will need to refresh the page.
Natalie, can you show us another billing item?
Mhm.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. So I'll add another billing item. Let's do administrative. So administrative, we want to make sure that the tier matches the tier of our case.
What is that?
Sorry?
Good question.
What is administrative?
that is why I picked this one. I want Angela to kind of explain what administrative means.
Well, good
Sorry, Angela.
afternoon. Haha. Administrative will not include billing, contacts to IDSD, but administrative could include requesting files, opening your file, if that is a common practice. I will tell you, we would not expect that to be an hour-long process. Please, it will be forthcoming what items will be acceptable as administrative tasks. Downloading Discovery that requires your presence, not setting it and letting it go and walking away for an hour and going grocery shopping and coming back and saying, well, it, downloaded for an hour. It is not technically attorney work hours, work time. So we will make sure that there is a list to define it.
I have a question. If we show up in court and say we're waiting in court for 1 hour, but it takes us a half hour to get to the court, it's an in-person hearing, and it's going to take a half hour to get back to the office. Do we bill for 2 hours for the court appearance, or do we only bill for our in-court time?
You only bill for your in-court time, travel to and from the courthouse, parking at local Wayne County courthouses are not reimbursable. Those allowances have been included in the hourly rate. Your cost of running a business. You are not employees of Wayne County, and so your time starts when you are in court.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to clarify, Angela, you said driving parking isn't included, but what about waiting in the court for your turn?
Certainly, if you are waiting in a courtroom because of the courtroom and not because of your lateness, you can bill and should bill and designate that as waiting time to distinguish it from the actual hearing time. We are encouraging everybody to be efficient. So if you've got some other discovery on another case you can be reviewing while you're sitting in the courthouse doing nothing, we would hope that that would be what you would be doing and billing for. But in the event that you do have to wait, we will compensate the waiting time.
Where do you make that entry?
The same place that you would make any other entry.
So if
So are you, oh, I'm sorry.
so, if you
Are
have
you, are you saying that, well, first of all, is there a different rate for waiting time as opposed to other type of time?
No, it is the same rate.
Okay, so let's say, for instance, that we read some discovery. Isn't it going to cause an issue that if you bill for waiting time and you bill for discovery at the same time, or do you bill one and not the other?
One and not the other. It's a great question. Yes, one and not the other. You cannot double bill for time.
Okay.
Can you allow people to stand in for you?
We are not encouraging stand-ins, particularly on substantive matters, because we have House counsel available at the ready in all courtrooms to
What
handle
about-
stand-in matters.
Well, what about non-substantive matters?
That's what I'm talking about. Non-substantive matters, there is House counsel available in every courtroom every day that could handle that stand-in for you.
And so you won't lose the case.
No, you would not lose the case, but do not abuse the system. So if you're calling every day for a stand-in, and not every day, but too much for a stand-in, leaving your client there alone without you, that will become a concern. We encourage you to manage your dockets, that you have what you can handle to give the clients of Wayne County your service.
Can I just ask a question? What's the rationale to have a house counsel who doesn't know anything about your case, even if it's picking dates or whatever the case may be, as opposed to you lining up someone you trust that has your calendar or whatever the case may be? I mean, I'm not trying to be obstinate, but I'm wondering why you.
That's not obstinate, but you cannot bill for it because you
Okay.
are not there providing the service. And so if you wish to have someone stand in for you and you are not providing that service and not going to bill Wayne County for it, that is fair.
Well, and again, not to be obstinate, but does Neighborhood Legal Services cover every single one of their cases, or do they have stand-in sometimes?
They
That's a good
probably
point.
have
Let me-
stand-in. Go ahead, Rob.
Angela. may I
Okay,
speak?
so then
That's a very-
why are
hold on,
they
hold
allowed?
on.
Sorry.
Can I answer the question?
Yes.
That's a very, very good point. I'm glad you brought that up. So in Wayne County, there are two systems. There's private assigned counsel who are independent contractors, not vendors necessarily of the county. And then there's Neighborhood Defender Service who has a vendor contract that outlines what services they are to provide. So the difference in the county's eyes is this. That is an entity that is under contract with a revenue source with specific duties. And it is expected that they have and cover their cases no matter what. You as an independent attorney, you don't have a contract with Wayne County. Now, Wayne County has a provision for vendors to have contract, but that does not exist right now for criminal attorneys.
Okay,
So that
but
is
the
why you
Oh, I'm
can't
sorry.
stand in. That is why you're not considered, a vendor necessarily in that fashion, like Neighborhood Defender Service.
Okay, but what's the distinction between attorneys, even though you're an entity, that the entity still gets paid, and the rationale, I assume, is you want the attorney continuity. So, to me, it doesn't seem
Now you're being obstinate.
like there's a real consistent rationale. I mean, in Oakland,
Well,
I don't
The
do.
rationale is the payment. So
Pardon
if
me?
you have a stand-in, that's fine, like Angela said, but we would not expect you to bill for that case.
Well, but that doesn't, it's incongruous because you have,
Jeffrey. Can we move forward?
Yeah, okay, but
I
well,
got a
I'm just gonna say this and then I'll shut up. In Oakland, that's under MIDC, and in Macomb, I don't do Macomb, but I have friends that do. They're in the same situation, and you get paid if you have a substitute, if it's approved by the client and by the court and the court. So I'll shut up, but to me, it doesn't make any sense, but that's okay. I guess we'll have to live with it.
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
imagine that once those invoices get to the state, there will probably be some changes forthcoming. But we also will have a billing policy that will outline exactly what we're discussing, and you can read that at your leisure once it's published.
Okay.
Question.
Yes, Dillard.
In the sense of if you have a substitute, so if someone is in the middle of a trial, no way can they get to the court. They get a substitute to come in. The substitute is qualified under that tier. Should that individual who's doing the substitution be entitled to compensation?
No. But I want to drill down a little more in your example. That attorney is in trial, presumably in Third Circuit, right?
It can be anywhere.
If it's anywhere, if it's not in Third Circuit, they're in trial in Oakland County. They also have a hearing scheduled in Wayne County at the same time. We expect that attorney to have known before the first day of trial that they had a conflict approaching and that they would contact the court and let them know they need an adjournment.
And the court says no.
If
Right.
the court says no, contact me.
The last thing I want to show, because this training is split into 2 sections, and next week we'll be actually creating an invoice. There is no way in the system to create a billing item that overlaps in time. So I am going to create a billing item for today at 2 to 2:35. And then I'm going to try to create another billing item for today. At the same time. Just gonna put in a little sample description. So when I go to create, it will tell me that billing items cannot have overlapping or identical time periods. So it will not allow me to create a billing item that takes place during the same time as an already created billing item. So it will force me to change the time to create that billing item. Now, the next step in this process is going to be creating the invoice and attaching billing items to that invoice. And we will be going over that next week in next week's training. And I will also show you the approval process. So what that invoice, the steps the invoice goes through as it is submitted, and then it goes through our different approvals. So that is what will be on doc for next week. Just to reiterate, these trainings are recorded. So this training will be available online March 1st, as well as next week's training will be online March 1st. And I am just going to go back to the slide with all of the different training materials that we have. These are already on the website now, but we will be adding, if you see here, this frequently asked questions document. So we are going to be reviewing today's training as well as next week's training. And we are going to make a question and answer document that addresses some of the questions that were asked today, as well as next week. And we will also be adding some additional documentation in terms of what these billing codes, longer description of the billing codes, as well as those attachment documentation of what should be attached to certain billing items. Also want to talk about this once again is the practice application. So if you are a hands-on learner, and a lot of us are, and sometimes the videos and the documentation just isn't enough, we do have a practice environment that you can log into. This is up and available today. So it has the username and password. You are all sharing this, so you will see other people's data. So please use fake data, just the way we did with Tony the Tiger. Just made up names, made up cases. You can practice creating those billing items. You can look around, click around, and see what's available for you to do. So that this page is live on the website now. Does anyone have any more questions?
I just want to make a comment. As you're in the practice environment, take a peek at dates that have already been entered by others so that you're not duplicating those dates and times. would be errors over and over for you. See if you can get away from the dates that are already entered.
Yeah, you can go back to any date and time, so you don't get those errors. You know, you can go back to July or September. Obviously, that wouldn't be wise in the real environment because of that timely billing. But in this case, you kind of do that in the practice environment.
Joseph asks, will the lineup duty be billed on the system? Yes, lineups as well as house counsel will be billed on this system. They will be listed as options in your list of cases on your attorney dashboard. And you can select one and put the date of service.
If you have any more questions, you can stick around and we'll try to answer those for you.
I just had a question for Natalie on the billing side. I had to step away. When you did the billing, did we show the billing for house counsel? Like the actual event that's in there, is that in there?
We did not show it. Sartaj, is it in yet?
Yeah, so the duty services case is in the 93716 account, Natalie, if you do want to go ahead and log into that, which is the demo account.
Can you repeat the login for me?
Yeah, it's 93716. And the password is capital A, attorney, and then ATT, OR,
Oh,
and and then it's capital IDSD, 12.
so this is the practice environment that is linked on the website right now. I just signed into it. Is there a specific case you want me to demonstrate?
Yeah,
Duty
so
services. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, okay. So yep, if you go down to duty services, and the event you would be adding in this scenario is the AOI/house counsel or floor house counsel.
So I think this goes to Steve's point about AOI house counsel duty. So you would just enter the start and stop time for when house counsel actually started and enter the service description. So in Steve's example, he might have handled his first AOI on his own case, and then he handled house counsel duty. So that might have started at 3:26. Let's just use it hypothetically. And you would put the service description. Angela, is our service description? We'll have a list of some examples for you all.
Either put the floor or the AOI courtroom. That is certainly going to be required. I'll have to find out. I don't know if we're going to be requiring the case numbers. So for this one, you can put Judge Deborah Thomas.
So for the description,
where you served as house counsel.
Yeah, so you could put Judge Deborah Thomas, Natalie.
And if you're floor house counsel, you put what judges you went to their courtrooms for?
Yes.
Yes, or the floor.
Floor.
The floor, okay. And right now you're saying you don't have to say how many cases you did, or you should?
We're not requiring that right now, Steve. What could happen is that over time, as these invoices get scrutinized, the state might come back and say, hey, this is not descriptive enough. So if that occurs, we will make adjustments. But for now, we aren't going to require the cases.
Okay. And sometimes it used to be that you were supposed to be available like all day for floor house counsel. And then they kind of backed it off and you were just morning, but if you did have a case in the afternoon, you might have to come back. But since we were being paid not for the time of the service, we were being paid for the appointment on each individual cases. So we would come back in the afternoon and then we would be appointed and paid for that. So now you're saying we would, if we're requested to come back, then we could bill more time for it.
Correct.
Right. Okay. You could create, Natalie.
And then Natalie, can we do a lineup too?
Sorry, you were a little quiet. What was that, Angela?
Lineup, please lineup.
Yes.
It will not let you put in 24 hours. It will only allow 18 hours, but don't worry about that. You will still get paid the $400 per day. That is automatically generated. Time would only be critical if you had to take off half of the day and we needed to replace you.
So stop right there, Natalie. So as Angela was saying, if you notice down in the grayed out hours, the rate is going to be the $400 per day. That's already populating. So again, the time is sort of irrelevant unless, like Angela said, there's actual time that's cut in half, you didn't serve the full day, et cetera, et cetera. But it's going to pre-populate the $400 per day.
And at this point, do we have to attach any of the, if we do, because sometimes we get nothing, sometimes we get a certain number of show ups. What do we do? Do we have to, our lineups, do we attach them?
I am leaning very close to having the lineup attorney submit the lineup reports, only because it has been communicated to me that attorneys are not keeping notes of the lineups.
Lately, I haven't gotten any, so it didn't,
Yeah, I get it.
it depends on the day, I guess.
Right. I've had a few attorneys complaining that the lineup attorney did not write a report or keep notes.
You can create that one too, Natalie, please.
Not a very descriptive.
Got it.
That's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Would the floor council get just a flat fee for the 3 hours that were there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
So we have another question in the chat. I thought this was only supposed to be an hour. Did I miss the code for attendance? I got a phone call and I had to take.
No, there is no code for attendance. If you missed it, this video is going to be edited and most likely posted, not by March 1st, potentially. But if you have questions about what we've done today, there's a video already available on our website that walks through the process without it being live like this. But at some point, we will have these live videos available as well. But there is no attendance code. It's on your honor that you're attending and trying to learn this system. It's 3:32. Are there any further questions regarding what was shown today?
No.
Okay. We hope that this has been somewhat informative for the system. As I stated before, we're happy to answer any specific questions, but we really would like for you all to really understand what you will be dealing with this system. So next week's training is going to go in depth about creating the invoice, but it'll also be a brief overview of what we've done today as well. So our hope is that we build upon every training with what has already been shown so that by March 1st, You would have seen the start to finish at least a couple of times so that you have an understanding. And again, please, please, please visit our website. We already have hard copy documentation that you can look at your leisure. We already have the PowerPoint that Natalie showed today. That's already available on there. We also have 2 instructional how-to videos that were created to just walk through the system. You can look at that at your leisure. And then we have a practice demo site that you can actually log into and see how the system works. You can play around in it. You won't break it. It's there for your convenience, for you to get a hands-on feel as to what it looks like and feels like. So we'll send out our email regarding the next training and what that will cover. In the meantime, I do hope that it was informative for you. And again, if you have questions, you can save them to next week, or you can ask them now, but you only got 2 minutes. So ask them now or hold them until next week.
Yeah, Robin.
Yes.
What was that code 9 something when logging in?
Yep.
An attorney with something else.
Yep, it's right down. Natalie, can you go back?
Sorry.
So when you go to the website, there is right down at the bottom, it says practice application. Here's the login information. The username is 93716 and the password. It's all on the website for you, already there.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, everybody.
very
thank you. Have a good weekend.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you.